first of all, welcome, Jeff, and welcome to everybody today. Um, Welcome to Beyond the Comfort Zone Live. It's a show that helps you step out of your comfort zone into a place of growth and learning. And I think getting Zoom streamed is still probably a little outside my comfort zone is what I'm learning right now and making sure they're live. For those of you who are joining us for the first time today, I'm Aviva Wilmer, and I'm a Vistage Chair in Atlanta, Georgia. I lead 3 groups of incredibly driven and ambitious CEOs who want to accelerate towards their goals faster. I also facilitate a group of growth-oriented key executives who are dedicating to driving transformative change within their organizations. Our peer groups are amazing mastermind collectives where members come together regularly to share ideas, experiences, and support one another. And no matter how many years of experience anyone has, the reality is their knowledge is capped by their experiences, and their experiences are still limited. They don't know what they don't know because they haven't experienced it yet. A pure environment creates valuable opportunities to explore the unknown, be more proactive, and make better decisions. By leveraging collective wisdom and diverse perspectives of their peers, members are able to achieve more than they ever could on their own. Our guest today is Jeff Pedowitz. He's the president and CEO of the Pedowitz Group. Jeff is dissatisfied with traditional perception of marketing teams as cost centers. He believes they can be profit centers, and they serve as the creative core of adaptable companies. The Pedowitz Group has gained a strong reputation in the marketing community and focuses on areas like AI, hot topic today, digital transformation, customer centricity, business accountability, and marketing technology. They have a track record of generating revenue for over 1,500 corporate clients, including Fortune 500 companies, as well as boutique organizations. He's an expert in using AI to drive revenue, and he recently authored the book, The AI Revenue Architect, Building Your Time Machine for Exponential Sales Growth. I'm really excited to have him with us today to talk more about how AI can drive revenue for your businesses. Apologize to you guys. Since we're live, I can't use AI to get rid of the red nose or the nasal voice today, but you guys will just have to deal with that, and we'll make sure Jeff talks a whole lot more than I do today. So welcome, Jeff. How are you?
Oh, Aviva, thank you. I hope you feel better, but it's a pleasure to be on the program.
Awesome. Jeff, AI is such a hot topic right now. I'm curious, how do you think it's going to change how companies pursue revenue growth?
Well, it's certainly going to get them out of their comfort zone if it hasn't already. And it's really, AI has been around for a long time. I think it's just since ChatGPT came on the market back in November, these last 9 months, I think have been eye-opening for so many different people. But it's really going to transform revenue growth for companies in so many ways. First of all, the clearest and most obvious way is in efficiency and productivity. There are so many manual tasks that sales and marketing teams use in the pursuit of revenue. And these can be automated, repeated, and scaled and optimized using AI. The second, the drudge of every business, data, getting it, keeping it clean, standardizing, working with it. I mean, we all say that we want to make data-driven decisions, but we can only do that if the data is good. So AI will help us improve our data, get stronger data, and that ultimately will lead to better decisions. Third, personalization through multiple channels and experiences. We've all gotten spoiled by Amazon and Netflix, and we now expect even in multi-million-dollar business transactions, we still want to get that experience, and AI will make that possible. And finally, AI really unlocks the power of developing new revenue streams. So in businesses, the more revenue streams, the more ways we can go to market around our products and services, the better and stronger business we have. And so AI will help with that as well.
Now, AI, talk about this a lot with my members, and a lot of them are more probably small, medium-sized businesses. And the question is, AI is out there, but we can't necessarily afford it. How does AI affect small, medium-sized businesses? Is it something that they can play with at this point in time?
Well, AI is going to impact every size business. And so there are cost-effective solutions on the market for every size business. No one has to go out and spend hundreds or millions of dollars on AI. For marketing teams, there's tools like Jasper that start only at $10, $20 a user per month. Microsoft comes out next month with Copilot, built on its 365 platform. Almost everybody uses Office in one way, shape, or form. Google will be coming to market with products and services. And so the arms race is on. There's going to be a lot of options for small businesses to be able to leverage AI as part of their day-to-day.
That's great to hear, because I think there's a lot of testing and playing with it, but not necessarily a lot of understanding on how to execute it within that environment without bringing in big consultants and investing a ton of money. In your book, you have the Make It Rain framework. Can you tell my viewers a little bit more about that? What does RAIN stand for and what does it mean?
Yeah, well, RAIN in and of itself doesn't stand for anything. It's just, sorry, RAIN, the book, it does. I was thinking about the components of RAIN as I was describing to you a minute ago. Absolutely stands for something. Revenue Artificial Intelligence Network is what RAIN means. And it's really about how do you use AI to connect your people, your processes, your systems, both inside and outside the enterprise in order to be able to drive scalable revenue. And then the components of RAIN, which I talked about a couple of minutes ago, being performance optimization, data, personalization, and new revenue streams. The Make It approach really is about how you start with your data and your use cases, and you're modeling out scenarios and fixing it one use case at a time. So AI can be overwhelming just in its sheer potential and then all the noise we're seeing out there. So my advice to everyone in the book is to start off with a specific use case. Look, maybe it's just you want to get better email open rates. You want to get better at processing your leads through the funnel. You want to be able to improve reporting, or you want to get more efficient at transcription. These are all practical use cases that you can use for AI and take the low-hanging fruit first.
Now, out of curiosity, what motivated you to write the book?
Well, you know, I being in technology and I started working with ChatGPT back in November, December when it first came out, and AI itself has been around for a long time, but these large language models were new, and I saw the potential then and realized that things were going to shift dramatically. Now, I would be lying to you if I could say I could predict every single trend and thing that's going to happen because of AI. I don't think anybody could, but I sense that it is going to be once in a generational type of thing. And our whole business is around helping our clients figure out how to take advantage of emerging trends in digital and technology to grow their revenue. And so we, like everything else, we wanted to get out on top of it. And we thought that getting a book out around how companies could use AI to drive revenue would be really important.
Okay, so I got to ask the title. Where did building your time machine for exponential growth, revenue growth come from?
So as I was writing the book, I was just started thinking about AI and science fiction, and growing up and watching movies like The Terminator and other kinds of things. I mean, these were all very popular movies, and I've always been intrigued by the possibility of time travel. And when I was thinking about AI and it being so futuristic, but it's now here, I'm like, well, maybe not a literal time machine, but how could I use that metaphor in business, and what would that look like? And for all the talk we make about building repeatable revenue and making data-driven decisions, the fact is that we have poor data, we have disconnected systems, broken processes, overlapping functions and people. And so it's really hard for us to build an accurate forecast. Many people in sales struggle with their pipeline and accurate forecasting to drive predictable revenue, unless you might happen to be in a SaaS business and you can deduct churn. So if you could actually use AI to go back in time and start to analyze all this data, all this history, all these processes, it could actually help you make much better decisions. And so then you could move forward in time. And so you could finally start to be much more accurate with your forecasting. And so that's really how I married those two concepts together.
Very cool. I will say I agree with you on the sales pipeline, because I don't know a business I work with that feels like their sales pipeline is good, nor have I ever been a part of a company that's had an accurate forecast. So if you can manage that one, I think you're the miracle worker for all miracle workers with AI tools.
I think for many businesses, pipeline's like a a constant disappearing magic trick. You start off the month or the quarter and your pipeline looks like one thing, and then you get to the end of the quarter and all of a sudden it disappears. What happened? And look, ultimately, as the buying process becomes more involved, especially in B2B, you see have a lot more people that are involved and a lot more buyer centric and more unpredictable. It really is hard to definitively know when a customer is going to sign a contract, even if you use the best sales process in the world, the best qualification criteria. Customers are still going to buy when they buy.
They are. Can you give some examples? Because we're talking very much in theory right now, for our viewers, of how AI has significantly improved revenue operations for a business.
Well, there's a lot of things already. I mean, let's just start off with basic analysis, whether it's an Excel spreadsheet, or you're consuming large amounts of information, transcriptions, surveys, where you have to analyze a lot of data and come up with an analysis to make a recommendation. So in revenue ops, we're looking at customer data, marketing data, sales data, tech data, trends, and we're synthesizing this and we're trying to provide updated support and reports. So that helps a lot with productivity. So we can start providing better decision-making support. It helps with communications and prospecting. So doing research in real time about customers, pulling if they're public, pulling in their 10K reports, and synthesizing that with your value proposition, resequencing your sales process and cadence so it's dynamic and unique to each individual customer or prospect. These things are already happening. Marketing is using AI to help with creative and content. So they can now produce emails, landing pages, website pages, videos, even social media posts in a fraction of the time that it took them a year ago. So that lowers their costs while increasing their speed. So they can get better campaigns out the door faster. They can lower their cost of delivery, improve their ROI, and drive better conversion. And all these things have an impact on revenue.
Awesome. That's a lot of great examples. How, again, kind of going back to the businesses, the tools that are coming out, do they allow individuals to really access doing those specific things? Or how do you know where to go if you're, like you said, start with one project? If we were going to pick one, how do you know where to go to start?
Well, in the face of it, a lot of businesses don't know what they don't know. They don't know where to start. They at a high level, they get it. Yes, this is something I should be doing something with. Everyone's talking about this. I need to do something, but what do I do? Where do I start? So the advice I've been giving to every business owner that I interact with is treat this like any other business planning exercise, right? You go down through all your processes internally, and all your services and products and say, if I added AI to this and I could automate this, I can improve this, what would it look like? And come up with a scenario of what that looks like. Then go back and put a rating. What's the level of effort? Low, medium, high. What's the level of investment? Low, medium, high. And then businesses have gone through dozens of planning exercises over the years, right? So you sequence, okay, high impact, low cost, low impact, medium cost, right? Sequence them and then just pick the lowest hanging fruit and then pick no more than one rock a quarter. Like pick one big thing that you want to work on. Do that across your company and then move forward. And there'll be plenty of time. Don't feel like you have to suddenly solve the world overnight because of AI. This is a rapidly transforming, rapidly iterating. And I can guarantee you, if you just start with those, you're already going to be ahead of 80% of the people that are out there.
So I think what you just said is really important to highlight. And that's, everyone's, I think, feeling like they've got to jump right in and be at 110% with it right now. And I think the reality is start small, start playing with it, see how it works, and then build from there. I think that's a really good point for most of the businesses that I work with to hear.
But don't stay on the sidelines either, because the world will pass you by. Don't let fear or uncertainty drive all your decisions. And you still have plenty of other things to work on as a business. AI will help those in many cases. But yeah, just be surgical about it.
So let's talk about the fear and uncertainty for a minute. I hear that a lot for business owners, that Some it's just a fad, some it's going to take over and all humankind, and so I don't want to touch or mess with it. I mean, these are some of the extremes, but what are some of the concerns you're hearing, and how are you answering some of those for your clients?
I think it's very common in humanity that we always fear what we don't understand. Until we understand it, it's hard to know what to do with it. So it can feel very overwhelming, especially when it comes to technology. But let's just take a reality check for a minute. And it's only been 50 years ago that we sent someone to the moon. We haven't even had television for 100 years. The internet started in the 90s. We got our smartphone in 2007. It's a relatively very thin slice of time in terms of how things are iterating. Change is a constant, and we have proven as humans that while we like change, we don't like to be changed. We don't like change forced upon us. We like to have the choice of choosing when and how we want to change. I'm more of a pragmatic futurist, I guess. I don't think that AI is going to become sentient and take over the world, and then we're going to be ducking for cover as human beings anytime soon. I do think that AI will eliminate some jobs, and I do think new jobs will be created. And I think mostly, though, it will be the people that know how to use AI will replace the people that don't. So for everyone, it's worth getting educated and understanding. And just like we use our smartphones and we use our laptops and we have other kinds of tools, we have calculators. I mean, AI will become a tool that we use as part of our day-to-day. We have to learn how to embrace it, how to understand it. And the future is yet to be written. I mean, there's so much innovation going on right now. The world's going to, at least as it relates to AI anyway, it's going to look very different in 12 months than it does at this moment, because there's a lot of people throwing a lot of innovative firepower at it. But that's the beautiful part about humanity, is that we're so creative, and that we are constantly ideating, dreaming, and building upon the latest iteration to make our world better.
That is pretty cool. And there's a lot of information and misinformation about AI out there right now. Where do you recommend people go to stay up to date and to start really paying attention?
Well, I think it depends on what you're looking for. You're looking for AI applications, or you're looking for AI news, news related to AI or specific to your industry. I certainly would work with your industry associations if you're in one. They're also doing a good job of aggregating information that's relevant for that industry and getting educated there. I'd stay up to date on the movements of OpenAI and Bard and Meta and Oracle and some of these big companies that are investing a lot of money, Salesforce. And just keep an eye on the news, but like every other news story out there, keep one ear open and one ear being a little skeptical. I think for the predominantly many news organizations, I don't know that they entirely operate in the middle. They all skew one way or the other. So you probably have to go to multiple outlets to get a handle on the story.
So take it with a grain of salt.
Yes. As I like, without getting too political, just use that old Reagan quote because it applies here. Trust but verify, right? Just the same thing. Even when you're working with these large language models like ChatGPT and Bard, don't just take what it spits out for gospel and use it. Read it, understand it, validate it, make sure it's real. Because sometimes it isn't. I mean, sometimes it's wildly off, and sometimes it could be a small thing, and sometimes it's perfectly right. But you have to go through it, and you have to analyze it and trust and verify.
Well, one of the things I've noticed even with ChatGPT is it's still up to human error. So if you put something in the same feed, you just had something you don't realize, and it mixes the subject areas up, you can get a response that makes absolutely no sense. So, as correct as it is, we can also still create really bad inputs into it.
Yeah, and if you keep the same window open, you don't start a new chat. It's trying to draw context within your chat history. So you've been keeping a running window open all week, and you're throwing all kinds of stuff in that. Your recipes and health data and business data and technology data. Yes, it's your stream of conscience in the moment, but it's still software. It doesn't necessarily always understand that that's your stream of conscience in the moment, and it might take these things and mix them together, and like you said, produce an outcome wildly unexpected. But it's also very powerful, but I think we shouldn't be expecting so much of this that then because when that happens, we get also really disappointed. Like we're expecting these machines to be perfect. And so then we either outright dismiss it. I don't think that's very constructive either. We have to recognize it for what it is. It's a very powerful piece of machine learning that's been built on the back of thousands of hours of people's effort and billions of dollars of investment into expensive software machines and databases and training. And it will get better over time as more people interact with it. It becomes smarter, but it is not sentient. It is not self-aware. It doesn't understand emotion or context. It can't have a sophisticated conversation. It can't get into deep strategy. It can't pivot and adapt. In many ways, it's and look at the T and the GPT. It's transformative. It's not creating. It's transforming. So it's taking the inputs that you give it and it's transforming it into something better than you might be able to produce on your own.
So let's talk about some other use cases because I think people will find these interesting. How does AI, I would say, enable better decision making as a part of the revenue generation process?
Well, let's start off with ICP, for example. You can talk to a lot of executives, especially marketers, and they'll spout out their ICP. They're very proud of it, and they know it. And then if you actually look in the data inside their CRM system and their win-loss analysis, a lot of times you'll find other segments that they've actually been selling to that they're not aware of. And that's both good and bad, right? It's good that obviously they have another product market or segment that could sell to, but bad if they've been over-investing in a segment that might not be producing. Maybe they need to change. And so this is an area where AI can help. It can get much better at analyzing past purchase behavior, market data. It can look at competitors. It can read the economic trends, and it can help you make smarter decisions as to where to invest your marketing and sales and product dollars so that you can get better growth. So that would be one area. Customer service and support. And look, it's always a fine line between trying to provide customer service but do it in a cost-effective manner. We've all gotten so sick and tired of IVR and talking to people in some country that we can't understand, and it's a very frustrating experience. But I think with chatbots and more interaction on the websites, that customers can have more real-time, intelligent conversations with their brands, get the answers they need quicker. I think we're going to see search change dramatically in the next 12 to 24 months. So the page of results that we get today, and we're scanning down the page, and and then based upon how well did the site optimize its page, do they pay to be ads and stuff, I think that model is going to go away. I think we're going to see more of like a bubble in the middle of the page where it's a much more contextual around it, understanding us, what we're looking for. I think websites are going to change too. The traditional nav structure is going to go away. It's going to be more something that we interact with, and that starts to understand us and helps us get a more contextual answer. But all these things have impact on how we market, how we sell, how we engage with our customer, our level of transparency, what we share, what we don't share. I think we're going to see software change. If the ability to code is much easier now, and AI can start to generate software, then is a traditional licensing model, whether it's a SaaS-based subscription or an enterprise model, is that the right model anymore? Because you might be able to build a completely bespoke architecture for your business in a cost-effective way that gives you everything that you need at a fraction of the cost. So, and then there's just so many different ways that this will impact our ability to drive revenue and engage with our customer.
How will it help companies better understand customer behavior specifically?
Well, today, at least in B2B anyway, we rely on the cookie, which is going away. We rely on third-party intent engines like Bombora, or we use ABX platforms like 6sense or Demandbase or Zoom, and then we're licensing that data to help us make decisions. But we're still manually segmenting and scoring from there. So the way that we do scoring of customer behavior today is still completely manual, at least in designing the model anyway. We're assigning 5 points for an email open, 10 points for a website visit, and then we create an arbitrary scale. And then the marketing automation platforms, of course, then can keep a running score. But that model is very arbitrary because it's us, the humans, coming up with arbitrary points based upon arbitrary rules. Whereas AI can actually start to analyze a customer's behavior across the web and on your website and all your channels in real time and create dynamic models to engage with. So you can then really start to understand the behavior of your customers.
Really imagine that ties in then to, as you're looking at lead generation as well, lead scoring, things like that, segmentation, et cetera.
Yeah, all that nurturing, advertising. So, I mean, we're already seeing the ability for AI to generate ads, not just the copy, but the image and the video. And then it can place the ads. So what will that mean? And so if AI is actually doing all that, then is it the person then reading the ads? Will we all have our own AI agents or avatars representing us to read the ads that the AIs are serving up? And let the AIs battle it out amongst each other. I think, I don't know, it's going to be definitely interesting. So this is also where this is one of those forces. It's going to be so disruptive. It's hard to predict completely how everything's going to change. There's a couple universal truths though about humanity. One, we love to be social. We're not meant to be isolated in our caves. The pandemic proved that. So for as much as AI will make things easier and more accessible, if it doesn't help us bridge the divides, if it doesn't bring us closer, give us opportunities to interact with each other, not just with the machine, I think society will adapt. I think we'll find other ways. I don't think we want to have a full-on relationship with a machine if it means that we lose the ability to have a relationship with humanity and our fellow humans. So I think that's going to be one important disruptor that comes out of this.
You got me thinking, because you said, many times you've said, I don't know exactly where this is going to go. So not from a prediction standpoint, but just from a creativity standpoint, if there was something that could come about through AI that you've always wanted to see from a visioning idea, what would it be? What would you like AI to be able to do for the world?
Well, I mean, in that regard, let's move past revenue, right? But revenue is a business construct. I think there are so many more important things, like, can it help solve pollution? Can it help develop renewable energy? Can it cure our most insufferable diseases, right? Can it provide cost-effective solutions for families? Can it solve literacy? I think there's so many ways where if we have this much powerful science, let's cure our planet. Let's take care of people. Let's build a better society. Let's build a better world. Sure. Revenue is nice. That's my business. That's what I happen to be doing. But I think life's greatest answers are much bigger than that.
Glad to hear you say that. And it's great vision. I think there's so many wonderful things. As people are scared of AI, they're missing the possibilities that lie within it to fix some of probably the greatest problems we have. So I look forward to seeing that world as well. Going back to your book. So for a lot of my listeners who have not yet read it, what are some key takeaways that you would hope they'd get to encourage them to go out and go buy your book right now and read it?
I think one, it starts with data, and AI is powerful, but it doesn't feed itself. It only works on the data and the input that's being provided to it. And as a business, if you've been ignoring your data, this is a wake-up call, right? You can really revolutionize your business with AI over the next couple of years, but only if your data is right. And if you're not going to put the time and effort into cleaning up your data, getting better data that feeds this machine, you're going to be sorely left behind. So that's definitely one big takeaway. The second one is, a time machine doesn't have to go forward hundreds of years. It can go forward a day, a week, a month, 6 months. So make the small wins and invest in the small things that just keep moving the needle. Progress, not perfection. That's really another important thing. And third, use AI to help you dream and unlock the power of your business to discover new audiences, to discover new ways of working, to increase productivity, to increase your employee satisfaction, to deliver a better customer experience, and to define new ways to grow. And then it really starts to unlock the possibilities.
Okay, so I got to ask this. Is there anything that you can give us a sneak peek on what's coming next? Another book or project you're working on?
Gosh, I think my publisher would kill me if I tried to come out with another book. We're still working on getting people to read this one. Well, I think for us, the focus is really going to be on helping our clients to figure out what to do. And I think everyone's at that stage right now. Don't know what we don't know where to start. Know it's important. See all the news and the buzzword. And for the people that get past the point of being scared, now what? So I think really our biggest focus is on the what, and helping them get to that next step.
So if our listeners are interested in connecting with you just to learn more about AI or to understand more about how you help businesses with AI and revenue generation, what are the best ways to get in touch?
LinkedIn. So Jeff Pedowitz. So LinkedIn/in/Jeff Pedowitz. You can go to my URL, jeffpedowitz.com. Our website, pedowitzgroup.com. So contact information is all pretty straightforward.
Awesome. I'll also throw it into chat after we get off and close here. So I ask every guest on my show this question. It has nothing to do with AI, although maybe you'll make it have to do with AI. But what is something outside of your comfort zone that you have never done before?
Skydive.
It's a lot of fun.
I'll have to take your word for it. I'm not doing it.
Oh, I might have to push you on that one, Jeff.
No pun intended.
There you go. No pun intended. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It is an honor to have you as a guest on my show, talking about one of the most important topics I think business leaders can be talking about right now, because I don't think we should be shying away. I think we should be engaging and embracing our new reality. Thank you to everyone who was a guest today or was a viewer today. Ooh, I definitely need some AI work here today. And until next time on Beyond the Comfort Zone, I encourage all of my viewers to try something new outside of your comfort zone, because that's where growth occurs and life begins. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.